Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama and these are the top stories so far. It's the fifth day of Tihar Bhai Tika today. Brothers and sisters put tika in garlands, wishing for health and long life for one another. Auspicious time for Bhai Tika set at 11:55 a.m. Federal Parliament Secretariat demands additional budget to purchase additional vehicles for its officials. Parliament officials put pressure on the Ministry of Finance. At least 12 people killed, including a police officer, in a shooting at a country music bar in Thousand Oaks, California. Suspect identified as 28-year-old Ian David Long. And Arsenal and Sporting CP settle for a goalless draw at the UEFA Europa League, while Chelsea blanks Bate 1-0. It's the fifth day of Tihar or Yama Panchak today, the second biggest festival of all Hindus. Hindus celebrate the day with a lot of fervour as brothers and sisters put tika, wishing for health, long life and prosperity for one another. As a customary practice, sisters worship their brothers by putting garlands of the long-lasting globe amaranth flower, mustard oil and 7 colors. Men who do not have sisters use a basil twig to put tika on themselves, as it is commonly believed that no one should have an empty forehead on the day of Bhai Tika. According to Hindu mythology, on this day, the god of death, Yamaraj, himself goes to his sister to receive tika, and so the gates to the Yamalok is shut for the day. According to the Nepal Calendar Determination Committee, the auspicious time for Bhai Tika this year starts from 11:55 a.m. onwards. And with that, we'll move on to the latest national political updates. The Parliamentary Secretariat has demanded for additional budget from the Finance Ministry to procure vehicles for Parliament officials, despite having plenty in number already, following demands from the Parliamentary Committee presidents. The budget demanded includes 17.5 million rupees for the vehicle for Chairman of the National Assembly and 12.5 million rupees for Deputy Speaker of House of Representatives and Deputy Chairman of the National Assembly. These officials have already been provided with vehicles by the Home Ministry. Likewise, the Parliamentary Secretariat is also preparing to purchase vehicles worth 7.2 million rupees for the 16 of the Parliamentary Committee presidents. The Secretariat has moved forward the procedure to purchase 23 new vehicles along with 30 motorcycles. The Home Ministry had allocated 125 vehicles for the Parliament Secretariat, out of which 80 are still in good condition. The others can still be prepared for use. However, the Secretariat has cited the existing ones as worn out as the reason for the need to purchase the new ones. Now, critics have hence questioned the intentions of the officials for such an extravagant decision. And moving on, the Parliamentary generally holds its winter sessions around February every year. However, the Parliament has scheduled its winter session ahead of time so as to address issues regarding the clashing nature of laws and to formulate new ones. The federal government is under pressure to formulate laws regarding the management of human resources at the earliest. Likewise, the provincial governments are also pressurizing on finalizing the Federal Police and the Public Service Commission Acts at the earliest. Despite the government's preparation to issue an ordinance on the management of human resources, it is yet to proceed with it. Based on the constitutional provision, the federal government should amend any law that contradicts with the constitution within a year of the commencement of the federal parliament, the deadline for which is the 5th of March 2019. The challenge for the government is now to amend 126 laws and formulate 26 new ones. The parliament officials have advised the government to arrange for the parliament meeting right after the Chhath festival or by mid-December. Based on the provision, the President can call for the Federal Parliament session following the recommendation of the government. It is good for the parliamentary session to be scheduled ahead of time, as it provides the lawmakers with adequate time to prepare and discuss on the formulation of the laws. And with that, we'll go for a short break here. For more news, stay with us. Based on the original project timeline, the expansion of the country's one and only international airport, the Tribhuvan International Airport, should have completed 2 years ago. However, due to negligence on the part of the contractor company, the expansion project has been in a limbo. The Trivandrum International Airport expansion project worth 10 billion rupees was initially assigned to a Spanish contractor company San Jose. After the company only managed to complete 17% of the total works in 4 years' time, the Civil Aviation Authority had divided the whole project into 3 segments and contracted it to other companies. However, the project has been yet again failed to gain the desired momentum as the Chinese company contracted for expanding the runway has left the project, while another company responsible for constructing the other section has only managed to complete 8% of the total work. With 500 flights operating, around 10,000 passengers fly in and out of Trivandrum International Airport on a daily basis. In order to better manage the current traffic, the expansion is therefore seen as having an utmost importance. Now, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development has said paddy productions this year has exceeded 5.6 million tonnes. The quantity is 400,000 tonnes more than that produced last year, attributed to favourable weather. The ministry has also said the amount is adequate to fulfil the domestic market demand unless exported elsewhere. Paddy is produced in more than 90% of total arable land in Nepal, and farmers have said they received plenty of rainfall during planting season this year, resulting in the increased productions. The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development collects data from district offices under their jurisdiction. The amount of paddy produced this year, as per the department's preliminary data collection, is recorded at 5.6 million tonnes, the highest ever. The number was 5.2 million tonnes the previous year. The ministry has said the increase in production is also due to availability of chemical fertilizers and hybrid seeds. Nepal had imported rice worth around 30 billion rupees last year. However, despite the encouraging state of productions, farmers have complained they have not received appropriate value for their produces. Experts are of the opinion that farmers would be motivated to produce more, which would increase the gross domestic product if the government sets a price favourable for the farmers. Nepal needs 10.9 million tonnes of food every year. Rice is consumed more in relative comparison to other food products. And it is imperative to increase production of other agricultural produces like rice if Nepal is to become independent in food. The Nepal Sambat has stepped in its 1139th year since yesterday. Despite 2 prime ministers in the past committing to implement the Nepal Sambat year for official purpose, that has yet to happen. In this context, we had asked the locals in Palpa what should be done to practically implement the Nepal Sambat year. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
नेपालमै जन्मिएको र नेपालीहरुबाट नै यो सम्बन्धलाई सलाइएको हुनाले नेपालीहरुको सम्मानको निमित्त पनि यो चलाउनु पर्छ।
त्यसलाई व्यवहारमा प्रयोग गर्नको निम्ति सम्बन्धित निकायहरु चाहिँ सक्रिय हुन चाहिँ अत्यन्तै आवश्यक छ।
जनदबाव प्लस सरकारबाट ठोस ढंगले हेर्नुपर्ने आजको आवश्यकता छ।
भोट चाहिने बेलामा, सहानुभूति चाहिने बेलामा र राम्रो बन्ने क्रममा राम्रो अभिव्यक्तिहरु मात्रै आए, तर त्यसलाई कार्यान्वयन गर्ने खालको कार्यक्रमहरु आएन।
राष्ट्रसंघमा सदस्यता लिनको लागि 1955 मा नेवारी भाषालाई नै अगाडि सारेर सदस्यता लिए कारण गर्दाखेरि यसलाई दिन खास फरक पर्दैन।
मल्लकालदेखि नै चलिरहेको हो, किन भन्दा त्यति बेला नेपाल सम्बन्धबाटै नै यो अभिलेखहरु जति छन् ती अभिलेखहरुमा धेरै जसो चाहिँ सम्बन्धहरु लेखेको चाहिँ हाम्रो नेवारी सम्बन्धबाटै नै लेखेको पाइन्छ।
It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, why have the Parliament officials demanded for additional budget to buy new vehicles? Your options are A, for luxury, B, commission game, and C, actual necessity. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It's now time for the sports update.
Sports news.
Arsenal and Sporting CP settled for a goalless draw at the UEFA Europa League, while Chelsea blanked Bate 1-0. Arsenal have reached the next round of the Europa League, and their unbeaten streak continues after playing a frustrating goalless draw against Portuguese club Sporting CP last night. In the Group E match played at Arsenal's home ground last night, Sporting were reduced to 10 men in the 87th minute after Jeremy Matthew was shown the red card for tripping Aubameyang at the edge of the D-box. Arsenal leads Group E with 10 points, while Sporting is in the second spot with 7 points. Although Arsenal reached the knockout stage of the Europa League with still 2 games to spare, Arsenal is worried after Danny Welbeck and Stefan Lichtsteiner suffered injuries in last night's match. Meanwhile, in another UEFA Europa League match played last night, Chelsea blanked Bate 1-0. In the Group F match played at Bate's home ground last night, the first half ended in a goalless draw. Olivier Giroud finally broke the deadlock by scoring a goal in the 52nd minute of the match and sealed Chelsea's 1-0 win over Bate. Now, before we wrap up, here's a look at the top stories once again. It's the 5th day of Tihar Bhai Tika today. Brothers and sisters put tika and garlands, wishing for health and long life for one another. Auspicious time set at 11:55 a.m. Federal Parliament Secretary demands additional budget to purchase additional vehicles for its officials. Parliament officials put pressure on Ministry of Finance. Officials, at least 12 people killed, including a police officer, in a shooting at a country music bar in Thousands Oaks, California. Suspect identified as 28-year-old Ian Long David. And Arsenal and Sporting CP settled for a goalless draw at the UEFA Europa League, while Chelsea blanks Bate 1-0. That's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur TV HD for more news and entertainment. Have a great day ahead.